All right, welcome to the night class. Here we go. We're doing lesson 6-2 today in tech math, which is combination algebra stuff. Okay. The title of this section is Radicals and Rational Exponents. So let's get right into it. This is example 1. Find the indicated real nth root of a. So the nth root, that sounds funny, okay? Well, that says nth root. It's not the ninth root. N is just representing some number. The problem will tell you what nth root they want. So in this one, what's n? 3. So they want the third root of negative 27. So you put the cubed root of negative 27 in your calculator. Okay? Now, how do you get there? You hit clear all that out. Okay. And let me, I'm sorry, all that's in your way. Hit math, and it is the fourth one down. See it? Okay. You can scroll down to the fourth one, or you can just hit the number 4. And then you type in negative 27, right?
Yes, not 23.
And then hit enter. All there is to it. Okay? So that will equal, that will equal negative 3. Excuse me. All right. Easy enough. Part B. The what? Fourth root of 16. So just to make sure, because I don't want you to just be like a little robot, just types it in a calculator and doesn't understand. The fourth root of 16 is asking what number do you have to multiply by itself 4 times to get 16? Like something times itself times itself times itself. Okay? 4 times. So how do you get fourth? You do the same process. You hit math. Okay? On your calculator. Come on, calculator. Come up. Oh, I'm writing on it. Sorry. Math. There we go. Math. Notice there is no fourth root button, but there is a 5 that has an X there, just an X root. That's the one you want to pick, and then you get to pick what root. Okay? So fourth root of 16 is 2. And if you think about it, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 one more time would be 16. That's what you're doing. Hi. Recording?
It speeds through it. Yeah, you didn't know that?
All right.
No, not like that.
So this was equal to 2. Any questions so far? Easy enough? All right. Let's see how I did.
Awful.
Hey, we got that one right. And I'm glad I poked on this. Your teacher forgot to tell you something.
You failed.
It's asking for the fourth root. That could also be negative 2.
That's what the
So you have to put plus or minus. Now understand, when they put plus or minus, that's not all one thing. That's 2 different numbers. They're just correct. They're writing it as one thing to make it quicker. Okay? But you have to read that as positive 2 and negative 2. Now, why can it be negative 2 as well? If I multiply negative by itself 4 times, it becomes what? Positive. So you only have to worry about those when it is an even root. Okay, I'll say it again. You only got to worry about doing plus or minus when it's an even root. So square root, fourth root, 6th root, 8th root, 10th root. Okay? If it's an odd root, you just get one answer every time. That makes sense? Okay? So don't forget your plus or minus. So the fourth root of 16 is positive or negative 2, not just 2. Everybody clear? Yes. All right, let's try some for you. Try those 2. I'm going to hit pause. What is the cubed root of negative 64? What'd y'all get?
4.
-4 is correct. Excellent.
9.
Okay. What is the square root of 81? 9 or what? Or -9. Remember, when it's an even root, you got to put your plus or minus. Everybody got me? So it's plus or minus 9. Okay?
You have to do that weird thing?
This weird thingy?
Yeah.
You either have to do that or you have to write 9 and -9 down.
I might do that.
So you have to do both. Or write it like that. That way it's quicker. Just letting you know. Okay? I also want to bring you to your attention here. Notice the cubed root is the same thing as what power? The 1/3 power. Okay? You remember what I had written up here? It was radicals and rational exponents. Okay? This is the rational exponent. I want y'all to understand, every time you see the word rational in math, think fractions. Okay? Rational's short word is ratio. It's not short word. What's it called? The base word. You know how you start off? Root word. Thank you. I'm not an English teacher. The root word of rational is ratio, and all a ratio is a what? It's a fraction.
Why does there like the positive negative thingy on 80?
Here?
Yeah.
Because again, it can be positive or negative because it's an even root.
Okay.
It can't do that on an odd root.
Okay.
Okay? But if it's an even root, it can be plus or minus. So you have to take care. So again, same thing. Square root is the same thing as the 1/2 power. Fourth root would be what power? 1/4 power. Fifth root would be the 1/5 power. Okay? So you can also put them in your calculator like that as well.
Can there be like another number besides 1 on top?
There can be. Yes, but it won't be considered a root. If you had, I'm trying to think of one. Let's say, and I'm going off reservation here. I'm making this up, so it might not be great. If I had, let's say, the fourth root of 2 cubed. Okay? I can write that in my calculator. Obviously, 2 cubed is 8. 2 times 2 times 2. Okay? So it's the fourth root of 8, but that's not what they're asking. I can change this to be 2, because that's my base. Okay? Now notice here, what's exponents here?
1.
A 1. What exponent's here? A 1. So this is 1/3 power. This one is 1/2 power. So this one, what's the exponent here?
4.
Nope, you got them backwards.
Oh,
3/4 power. So whatever the exponent inside the radical, that's your numerator, and the root is always your denominator. Okay? All right. Any questions on those? Smashing. Let's go. Example 2.
Put your leg down. Oh, put your leg down.
All right. More of the same, basically. Evaluate each expression. All evaluate means to do is what?
Solve.
Put it in your calculator, basically. Okay? That is, I'm going to write them bigger so y'all can see. This is A, the cubed root of -8. B, negative cubed root of 8. C, 16 to the 1/4. And D, -16 to the 1/4. So try putting all those in your calculator real quick, and we'll talk about what our answers are. So I'm going to pause. What did you get for A? -2. Anybody not get -2? Everybody good? How about B? It's also -2.
No, it's -2 because
Okay.
it isn't a -8.
Yeah, that's a +8 inside on B. Okay. What about C?
2.
2. And D, you should have gotten an error.
I did not.
So let me explain why. What root is that? If the 1/4 power is what root? The fourth root. Okay. So you're figuring out the fourth root of negative 16. And here is what happens. This number is not real. And all the numbers in this class we're dealing with are going to be real. When you get to Algebra 2, they will have these answers that aren't real, but they don't just call them not real. They actually give them a name. Okay? When you have a friend when you're little and they're not real, they call it your imaginary friend, right? So there is a such thing as imaginary numbers. All right? This is an example of an imaginary number. Like I said, we won't bother with them in this class, but when you get to Algebra 2, you will be introduced to imaginary numbers. But for right now, this is, you're just going to put not real, okay? It's not real. If you put imaginary, that's fine too. I'll give you credit. But the book's going to say, hey, that one's not real, okay? Here's why it's not real. A real number does not exist where that is true, where you can find that. And here's why. I'm multiplying something by itself 4 times, right? So if the number's positive, and I multiply a positive number 4 times, my answer is going to be what? Positive. Is that positive?
Yeah.
No. If I take a negative number and multiply it by itself 4 times, my answer is still going to be what? Positive. The only way to get a negative is if I multiply something an odd number of times. Because if I'm multiplying it even times, I'm always going to end up with a positive number. Is that making sense? Okay? So, I cannot have the 4th root of a negative number. I can't have the square root of a negative number. I can't have the 6th root of a negative number, okay? You can never have an even root of a negative number and it be real. Correct. This is what kind of roots? Odd roots, okay? Even roots, you have to be taking the even roots of positive numbers. Everybody good? Awesome. All right, let's try a couple more. Try those 4. Okay? Again, I'll pause the tape so the video is not too long. So, for the first one,
3.
should get 3. What about the second one? Negative 3. 5.
And error.
So not what?
Real.
Not real. Or imaginary. Let's see how we did. Got that one right? Got that one right? Got that one right? Not a real number. Beautiful. Okay?
Wait, what?
I'm going to ask you something real quick. Okay? If, and it's very, it's ticky-tack, what I'm about to say, but it matters. Okay? A, do you notice how they didn't put plus or minus on that one? They could have, though, because, right, it's an even root. Okay? Here's why they didn't. Because it's already written as a 4th root. We're not writing it down like that. It's already there. So if they want the 4th root and they want it to be positive, they'll just put the positive one. Notice in B, they put what? The negative one, so they wanted the negative one. Okay? So when you go through the process of working out problems, if you take the root, that's when you're going to put plus or minus. But if it's already there, you can if it's positive, you put the positive one. If it's negative, you put the negative one.
It's up to the person who creates it.
Correct. Okay? But if you're solving a problem and in the process of solving it, you have to take the 4th root or the square root or whatever, then you have to put plus or minus because you're doing it and it's not them. Everybody good?
I have a question.
Yes.
Why couldn't you put a negative sign in front of the 25 without the parentheses?
Here, you can. They just didn't here. Had they done it like this, that's okay. Now it's just like this one with a different number.
You wouldn't get an error.
You wouldn't get an error there. Because what this is saying negative whatever the square root of 25 is. It's not saying the square root of negative.
All right. So
You with me?
If you just put a negative sign right there.
It won't. Well,
won't be right now.
if you do it like this, it will let you.
It will.
It will. If you do it like this, It will not.
Because it's not talking about.
Because what this is saying negative whatever 25 to the 1/2 power is. But this is saying negative 25 to the 1/2 power, and you can't do that.
I'm trying to find a way, so if I see that on the test, I'm like,
Yes. Okay? All right. Example 3. Ah. Someone asked this earlier. Do you ever have fractions without a 1 at the top? So here they are. Okay? You do the same thing. You can put it in your calculator. I'm going to show you how. Here we go. We got 16 to the 3/4 power. 16. Your exponent is this little arrow that's below the clear button. Okay? And it's to the what? 3/4?
3/4. So you put
3 divided by 4.
which gives you 8.
And then hit enter. Enter. Well, there you go. It does give you 8.
The next one's the same thing, just turn back around and that
It's
gives
4/3?
you 1.
Is it 4/3? Okay. So 16 to
No,
the,
it's
I'm sorry,
7 4/3.
20, thank you. 27 to the 4 divided by 3 power,
And it gives you 81.
and it gives you 81. Okay?
Did Buckley just ditch us or something?
She'll be back. Now, just to show you that we can change this to radicals if we wanted to. Okay? What root would this be? Remember, the root comes from which part of the fraction? The denominator. So this is the 4th root
And the next one's the 3rd.
of 16 cubed. It's not asking us to do this because we can just stick it in our calculator and get the answer. But these two things are the same.
And the next one would be 3
Cubed root of 27 to the 4th power. Same thing. Everybody got me? Okay. Again, denominator is the root. Numerator is the exponent. Everybody good? All right. I'll give you some just to plug in your calculator real quick. Will not take long. Well, those are really big.
9.
243 to the 2/5 power.
9.
9. Anybody else get not 9?
And the next one is 6.
Jaden, you get 9?
16 to the 3rd.
Okay. Jaden, don't. All right, good, because it's 9. How about B?
64.
64. Beautiful. Gosh, y'all are smart. All right. Example 4. We're almost done.
That is satisfying.
Whoa. That's a big ball. Okay. So we're finding the volume of this huge, I don't know, blow up sphere. Ball is a sphere, I guess. Yeah. It says the radius of a sphere is given by this equation. R equals 3V divided by 4 pi to the 1/3 power, where V is the volume of the sphere. Find the radius of the beach ball to the nearest foot. Use 3.14 for pi. So we are finding R. Okay? R equals 3V. What is V? 113. So 3 times 113. I can't. It's in your book, but I'm writing it big, okay? Divided by 4 pi, and it says to use 3.14 for pi. So listen, that's important, okay? Because if they tell you to use 3.14 for pi, you need to use 3.14 and don't use the pi button, okay? It's got way over, all right? So 3.14 is important there. Don't use the pi button. If it doesn't say use 3.14, they want you to use the pi button. Everybody with me? Okay? So we're going to close that parentheses, and then all of this goes to what? The 1/3 power. Okay? So let's practice putting this in our calculator, because all you have to do is stick all that in your calculator. But the actual actions of pressing the buttons gets confusing. Okay? So here we go. I don't know if that's gonna be in my way when I hit my calculator, but we'll see. I can still see. All right, well, let's get rid of this. and get rid of this. Okay. First, you're going to hit parentheses, and then you want a fraction. So the easiest way is hit alpha y equals, and it's that very first one. Hit enter. And now on top, you can put 3 times 113. On the bottom, we can put 4 parentheses 3.14 close parentheses. Then you need to go to the right and close that big parentheses. Everybody see how I'm doing that?
And then you press the exponent.
And then you do the exponent, which is a little arrow up going up, and do the 1/3 power. And now I have made it look exactly like it looks here. Everybody see that? And then you just hit what? Enter.
You get 2.9 something.
Then you go
2.9999 or 2.999646101. Okay? So let's see how we did. Let's go back. Enter. Oh, you got to see my work. Now, what did they put for their answer? 3. Now, was it exactly 3? No, they just, because it was like 2.9999. So they just said it was 3. Okay? So, answer is 3. Any questions? All right. Let's see what example 5 is. All right. Last one. Example 5 says to calculate the annual inflation rate R in decimal form of an item that increases in value from P to F over a period of n years, you can use the equation R equals F divided by P to the 1/n power minus 1. Find the annual inflation rate to the nearest tenth of a percent of a house that increases in value from 200,000 to 235,000 over a period of 5 years. Okay, that is a word problem, but I'm here to tell you it's not actually a word problem. Okay, it's not. I don't consider it a true word problem unless you are making up the formula. Okay, did they give us our formula here?
Yes.
All you doing on this one is plugging in. Okay, so you're looking for the annual inflation rate. So you're looking for R. Okay, and it tells you it's equal to F. Well, what was F? It says from P to F over a period of n years. So we went from P to F. So where did we go from? 200. So that must be what?
No, the bottom.
Which letter? That's the P. Okay. 2, that's the F. Is that making sense? So we're doing 235,000 divided by 200,000. Okay.
Is that a good deal on a house?
I mean, they made a lot of money.
35.
Let me erase this. Okay. To the 1/n power. What is n? N years. Period of n years. So period of how many years? 5 years. So 5 is n. So to the 1/5 power. Okay. And then don't forget on the end we put what? Minus 1. Okay. And you just put all that in your calculator. And the calculator does the rest. Okay. So can somebody, everybody should be putting it in your calculator. Let's see here. Parentheses. Put my 235 divided by 200,000 to the 1 divided by 5 power minus 1. Make sure when you put your minus 1 that you get off of the exponent, okay? Otherwise, it'll put minus 1 up there on the exponent.
Get that.
You added one too many zeros down at the bottom of your 200,000. You got 2 million. You should get.
Add 6 zeros, and you should get negative 0.3483602426.
I got that.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, 0.0327794,154.
I thought it looked off, but I wasn't gonna say anything.
Okay, and it does want, sometimes they want the rate in a percent, but in this case, R is in what? Decimal form. A percent, the rate, the inflation rate, R, okay? Sometimes they might want it as a percentage, but in this case, they wanted it as a decimal, okay? So let's see how we did. Let's see if we got it right. They're doing the same thing we did. It's just really small, 0.03278. I believe that's the same thing we had. They rounded to the 8, okay? We had 0.0327779, and they rounded that fourth 7 to an 8, okay? Any questions? All right, hope you've enjoyed this video, learned a little bit. See you next time, and as always, stay above the line.